Tim's ready.
I'm live.
Okay.
Cortland voice is on.
Perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us either in person or remotely. I'm excited to announce to Cortland County that here in our region we expect to meet all of the metrics required by New York State to begin reopening our local businesses under Phase 1 of the New York Forward Plan starting Friday, May 15th. As you may be aware, Cortland County has partnered with Onondaga, Oswego, Cayuga, and Madison counties to develop a plan to restart businesses and commerce here in the central New York region. We've been actively working on this plan for the past few weeks, and I'm pleased to say that those efforts have resulted in a plan that provides for a safe and thoughtful process to begin reopening of businesses both small and large. The first phase of this plan begins to bring our non-essential construction, agricultural, and manufacturing operations back online. We continue to work with the state to establish specific guidelines for our business sectors, including retail, dining, and recreational facilities. We expect further information to be made available in the coming days and weeks on this. We have created a space on our county website to assist business with finding the latest information and resources to help guide them as they prepare to reopen their doors. We expect that these plans will be based upon guidelines from the U.S. Center for Disease Control and New York State Department of Health. Our partners in Cortland County Business Development Corporation and the Cortland County Chamber of Commerce will be working to share important details of this phase plan in the days ahead. As with any plan, we expect things may change based on new developments and guidance from New York State, but I wanted to share this information with the community today in order to prepare everyone as we move Cortland County forward. Thank you for your time and continued support. Remember, stay Cortland County strong. Thank you.
Just a note for those folks who are on the phone, we are having some technical difficulties with our stream. We are attempting to get that up and running, so please bear with us. We'll get that running as soon as we can. At this time, on behalf of the chairman, we are going to alter the agenda slightly. We're going to go ahead and proceed to agenda item number 3. We will be, I believe, asking for an executive session at the end of this meeting in order to address items 1 and 2. Agenda item number 3, on motion of Mr. Wagner, authorizing an agreement accepting funds for the Healthy Neighborhoods Grant. This is for the Health Department, Health Education.
Move it.
I have a motion by Mr. Newell. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hardman. Any questions?
I do have a question. Agenda item number 3 and 5 look to be very similar, and I'm trying to figure out the difference.
These are separate contracts under this program,
Okay.
so they're providing different services.
Okay.
So if we look at 3,
I'm seeing the money is the same. Is that true? It's 2 different contracts with each with 116.
Yes. Answer that question.
Go ahead, Kathy.
I think that, I apologize, I was barely able to hear Kelly's question, but it had to do with the fact that both the monetary amounts are the same.
Yes.
My understanding is that, yes, both monetary amounts are the same.
You know, we can. I'm sorry, Kathy. We can certainly double check this and verify. Health Department did put these into the portal for consideration. So if we have a double here, we can certainly not advance that to the floor if need be.
advance both, or advance one, or check just to see if the numbers are the same?
Correct, correct. If they don't need one or the other, we'll eliminate one as we move to Thursday's meeting.
Okay. I had a separate question on that. I don't know if it's, may I ask it?
Please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Are these monies that we reimburse, in other words, are these reimbursable to us, or do we actually receive the money? I think these are monies that we apply for reimbursement, correct?
That is my understanding. We expense the dollars and are reimbursed.
Okay. Is it possible, you know, New York has the ability to change month to month right now and reduce aid to the counties. Would this be impacted by such future reductions, or could it be?
I would say yes. Certainly that is something that I don't mean to speak for the county administrator. I know he is watching very closely and anxiously because that is a real concern, whether it's this program or across the boards. Rob, do you want to add anything additional to that, please?
No, the only thing I want to say is, unfortunately, any grant that comes from the state has a potential of being reduced due to the state's revenue flows. If they receive less revenues, it could impact any grants that we have, even if we have a contract with them.
Did you catch all that, Kathy?
I caught most of it. Thank you for clarifying. So now, let me ask you an additional question. I'm assuming, though, that in cutting, they will pay for what we expensed so far? In other words, they won't cut, oh, I guess maybe we don't know.
No, there are no guarantees. No. Every quarter, the governor can make cuts to any funding stream to the local governments.
All right. So are we, in this, I'm assuming some of these grants pay for FTEs, some of these grants pay for parts of FTEs. Are we looking at what our quarterly expenses are out of these grants and not getting ahead of it based on previous quarterly submissions? And just one way to protect ourselves. In other words, what I would argue is that I don't know any of these grants whether we make upfront purchases of things. If we do, and again, I'm putting FTE expenses to the side, I would recommend that we don't do that unless it's absolutely imperative that we do. Because I don't want us to be in a position where, and again, I can't speak directly to this grant, but of the let's say the 116,000, we normally make a bulk purchase out of that for spots. Well, I would argue, gosh, let's not do that in the event that they do cut in the future. And then we probably don't have enough to meet the quarterly expenses at a minimum, even of the FTE. So again, I'm using this as a theoretical. I'm not saying specifically applies to this group, but I am about us watching our quarterly expenditures so that we're thoughtful and conservative and not find ourselves in an awkward situation with respect to employees. You understand what I'm saying? Can you hear?
Yes.
Yep, we heard all that, Kathy.
And
All
we
right,
are,
thank you.
and with the austerity budget, we are only spending what we have to, and that includes grant funds. If we do not need to spend it, we are not spending it. And even if we have.
Exactly are these funds used for? Smoke detectors?
Smoke detectors, other outreach, radon kits, things that are required to be provided through this program.
So,
I would suggest if we want to get real into this, we need to get somebody from the health department up here because, quite frankly, we're in the deep end of the pool on this one.
I think so. What kind of inventory they have left from last year?
Again, these are questions that Northern Rob and I can answer at this time. So if we need to get further clarification on this, we can either do that for Thursday or we can stop now and get somebody up here.
Well, the crux is that, do we want to accept it? That's what it's about, authorizing agreement to accept the fund. I won't turn any down.
This is not a new program, just to be clear. This is something we've been doing for several years.
Yeah,
I'm
Ms.
just,
President.
right, I just wanna bring up, again, the duplication. The only thing I can see different on 3 is it says health education, so I don't know. I mean, to say we're voting on 2 of them that are the same seems a little redundant to me.
Right, and again, if this is a Scrivener's, then certainly we'll kick them out.
Right, but can we get it right to begin with, is my recommendation. So we know, is there 2 separate contracts for 116,000 plus?
I guess we
Or
need to
is
get-
there one? That's
Okay,
my
can
question.
we table this and maybe come back to it, since there seems to be a good deal of questions surrounding this, and maybe we can get somebody from the health department up here? Okay, so, Mr. Wagner, we'll table
We'll
this and come
table
back to it.
For now, we'll come back to it, so.
All right,
Okay.
agenda item number 4, amend the 2020 budget to accept funds and authorize agreement with Health Research Incorporated. This is contract 631401, CFDA 93.354, and this is, again, Health Department Emergency Preparedness.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Thank you. On the personnel services, are these covering parts of individuals and their overtime? And is this covering, Rob, time, and what exactly in terms of personnel services this is covering? I guess, that'd be my best guess.
You gotta speak louder.
My understanding is this is covering actual time worked with the COVID-19, whether it's contract tracing or other aspects of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know if that answers your
Okay,
question.
so this is in addition to whatever reimbursement we might get from, the time and a half, for instance,
Yes, this is not FEMA money. This is an additional grant.
So this is totally different. This is covering whatever additional services we needed in order to monitor the COVID crisis, basically.
Correct.
Thank you, Rob.
Any additional questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We're gonna go ahead and skip 5 until we can find out where we're at on that issue. Agenda item number 6, amend the 2020 budget, authorizing agreement with Care Compass Network Mental Health Department. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Preston, second by Mr. Harbin. Questions? Just to let folks know, once this is accepted, we will be issuing a press release on this grant. Anything further? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you for mental health. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sharon, for your efforts to secure these dollars. We move on to agenda item number 7, on motion of Mr. Wagner, authorizing an agreement with Cigna Behavioral Health Inc. Mental Health Department. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Move it.
I have Mr. Newell on the motion, seconded by Mr. Harbin. Questions? Ms. Preston?
Yes, please. Going down to 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas funds received from Sigma have been included in the 2020 budget. Do we know how much that was?
Sharon, do you have that response?
Sadly, I do not have that exact.
Agenda item number 8, authorizing the first quarter 2020 sales tax distribution. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Ms. Preston, second. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Newell.
Second.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That's okay. Questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, I'd just like to note for the record that when I looked at the figures, based on last year's receipts, when I take out, for the jail and other reasons, last year for this time, we made $8,956,515. This year for the same quarter, tax receipts for $7,216,462, or for a difference of $1,740,051. $1,740,051 for this, difference from last year. If I take the 0.54% that is due Cortland County, that's $939, and it's $939,000,627. So that's about what our loss was in this quarter. Doesn't mean we can't make it up for subsequent quarters, but that's kind of where we're tracked.
Anything further on agenda item number 8?
I had a question on the final results. Knowing that the sales tax distribution calls for taking monies off the top and putting it aside into various reserve accounts, given the financial situation of where the county and our municipalities are, is there any opportunity for us to suspend that reserve account lock-in so that we can put these funds to good use immediately in our county and across municipalities?
I believe Mr. Hyder has something to offer on that.
Oh, that's something on consideration, under consideration. I've had a conversation with Mayor Tobin, and we will be further considering it, but not at this point.
Were you able to catch that, Mr. Harvin?
All I heard was that it was under consideration.
Okay.
With the city of Cortland.
Right. The chairman and Cortland Mayor Tobin are having some conversations on that. I'm paraphrasing the response.
Well, last I talked with the county attorney, she told me this has to go through. But once it's put into the reserve account, we could take it out later,
Subject to resolution.
subject to resolution.
So
in other words, it's not an impossibility.
retroactively, we could give them a certain portion of that in terms of what they would have received as part of their distribution, if in fact we had suspended it from the beginning. Is that what we're saying? So if, for instance, we all chose to say yes, given the extraordinary times, we're going to set aside, and I'll just take a simple number, $1 million that we normally would have taken off the top for this year for the jail. We're not going to do that. In fact, we're going to distribute the sales tax plus that $1 million for all the municipalities, including the city. That we can choose to do that after the fact. Is that what I hear you saying, George?
Well, what I'm saying, the attorney said it has to go into the reserve account, but that doesn't mean we can't take it out later. In other words, our agreement was it goes into the reserve, so we have to do that. There's no agreement as to when we can take it out, so we're free to do that later on in the year.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
But I don't want people to lose sight that we have a budget too.
No, we do, but we are a county.
Anything further? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Excuse me, Chairman,
Yeah.
Ms. Furherm is here. Would you mind bringing her agenda back up? She has a
Yes,
conference call
yes.
today. Thank you.
So let's start with the Kathy. We've got two resolutions in the packet that were submitted. They appear to be identical.
Yes, they do.
Okay, is
Probably one was sent last month before,
this happened?
yeah, in
Okay,
between the change in schedule,
Okay.
and then it was resent.
so I'm gonna recommend that we strike number 5. And we deal with agenda item number 3. Everybody on board with that?
Yep.
Okay, number 5 is a duplicate.
Okay.
So we're agenda item number 3, authorizing agreement accepting funds, Healthy Neighborhoods Grant. We'll start first with Shaw. Kathy, you're on.
My question? Oh, yes. My question is that, as we know, the state has threatened, and they threatened probably will come back in and start reducing funds depending on their tax receipt scenario. What is our position in terms of spending this? Are we spending it as conservatively as possible? The reason why I'm asking that question is sometimes with grant money, you do bulk purchases up front. Okay, so you may, I'm just saying that this is not true for the 116. I understand, I'm just asking in theory. So the 116,000 saying of that, 15% of that might be supplies. And so we would begin to purchase that up front for whatever reason. But then we find that indeed they come back and they start cutting that grant because they're cutting across the board in all grants. And suddenly we might have a challenge with then funding whatever portion on an FTE that we do typically fund out of the 116. So I'm assuming that we're giving due consideration for that, right?
Right. So
In the degree that we can.
we cover the cost of personnel and fringe, and we do buy supplies for that program, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers and such. We usually purchase about a month in advance. Because of this crisis, we have not purchased equipment for a while. There is a plan to continue the program remotely, and we have submitted our plan to New York State Department of Health for approval, how we're going to go about remote inspections and remote communication with the recipients of that grant. Pending that approval, we do continue to work on the program. We do continue to bill our personnel and fringe as we go along on a monthly basis. But again, we have not purchased any supplies in a few months because it's been pretty slow.
The vocal was going in and out, and I heard probably every third word. I apologize.
Can you just walk down here and stand at a distance, Kathy?
6 feet?
That looks like 6 feet.
Okay.
Is that better, Kathy?
To repeat, we do cover personnel and fringe month to month on this grant. We buy supplies. We purchased supplies a couple of months ago and it's been slow, so we have a stockpile. We are cognizant that things may change as we move forward. So the goal is to cover our personnel as we incur the expense and to just order supplies as they're needed. The intention is that we continue this grant remotely. We submitted a work plan to the state for approval and we're waiting for that approval.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any additional questions for Ms. Purherm on this resolution? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Newell, a second by Mr. Harbin, authorizing the agreement accepting funds, Healthy Neighborhoods Grant, Health Department, Health Education. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Okay, we are going to move on to number 9. Authorized grant application, New York State Department of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, Cortland County Snowmobile Trail Development and Maintenance 2020-2021, and this comes to you from the Planning Department. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Motion by Ms. Preston, second by Mr. Newell. Any questions, comments? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. On to agenda item number 10, authorizing the 2020 through 21 seeker form, declaring a negative declaration of environmental impact under the State Environmental Quality Review, or SEEKR Act, for Cortland County Snowmobile Trails Planning Department.
Move it.
Move.
I have a motion by Mr. Newell. I'll take a second by Mr. Fitch. Any questions or concerns? Ms. Preston.
I have this one.
Oh, hold on, Kathy, I got Ms. Preston.
So we're authorizing the secret form at this point, not approving it.
No,
Is that
no,
correct?
no, you're approving it. This is a, this is considered a, basically a no impact under the seeker.
Okay.
But in order to file the grant application, we have to acknowledge seeker as part of the grant application.
So we don't have to do a formal declaration?
We have not traditionally done that on this particular project, grant application. You mean go through the short form as we have done in the past? We
Yes.
haven't historically done that for the snowmobile trail grants. Mr. Deneen, I believe, is on the line. Dan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, do you want to give a little history on this, Dan?
Yeah, it's just filling out the form just to complete the grant application. There's no impact to the landscape at all, so it's more or less just a formality in order to receive the funds, we have to have it on file.
Mr. Harvin, did you care to weigh in?
Oh, sorry, I was just, I would reiterate what Dan said. We did look at this and reviewed it, and asked a lot of questions on it last year in APD. And, we were convinced at that point, and I'm still convinced that, the impact is minimal. It's been something we've done traditionally, because it goes away, the trails disappear, when the weather turns. So it was decided, and has been decided, that there's no impact.
Okay, thank you.
I would support this on board.
We do this every year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This allows, and just to be clear, this is what allows the local riding club, that maintain the trails, to access the monies from the state. We are the conduit to access these funds. So just so everybody understands what this does.
I understand that.
Sure.
I live in.
In case there's anybody on the line.
I'm just making sure that legally, we have, done our part.
Ms. Howe is on the line. Karen, any concerns from you?
No concerns.
Thank you.
All right. With that, if there's no additional questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to agenda item number 11, authorizing agreements Cortland County and Cortland County Snowmobile Club's Trail Maintenance Grant 2021.
Move it.
Motion by Ms. Preston, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Newell. Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. We move on to agenda item number 12, authorizing the mortgage tax disbursement for funds collected between October of 19 to March 20. County Clerk, may I have a motion?
Move it.
Motion by Ms. Preston. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bishop. Questions?
I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
She's in the audience, is she not?
Ms. Larkin is on the line. I'll go ahead and open the line up for Ms. Larkin. Hi, Betsy.
Hello.
Hi, Betsy.
Hi. Hey, how does this compare to last year? Have you seen any drop off in the last 3 months or so, or is it hard to tell?
Just only went until March 1st, so, no, it did go through the end of March, I'm sorry. No, there wasn't any significant, of course, these go up and down, it depends on how homes, sell or are remortgaged in different municipalities, so they do vary quite a bit in the smaller towns, but the city and the town of Cortlandville, they were pretty much the same. We did have some big sales of the apartment complex out there, just before A&W that remortgaged, so that made Cortlandville higher. So there wasn't an awful lot of difference, no. And we've continued to work at the clerk's office. You can e-record a mortgage, so that hasn't stopped.
Great, thank you.
Any further questions for Ms. Larkin on this resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We move on to agenda item number 13, accept Federal Aviation Administration Grant CARES Act, County Airport Highway Department. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Motion by Mr. Newell, second by Ms. Preston. Any questions?
I do.
Go ahead, Kathy.
Do we have any notion of where this money shall be applied?
It's going to the airport.
No, I know, but against what at the airport?
Charlie, are you on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, this is just for operational expenses. Anywhere that we spend revenue that we receive from the airport, we can use to offset our lost revenue. So, for instance, we have a few vacant hangars that usually fill up in the spring when the snowbirds come back. They bring their planes. They may be locked down south, not feeling like coming back. The lost revenue of Jet A fuel, we can use it anywhere on the airport grounds that we feel for operational expenses.
Okay.
And this is federally funded money, so there's no chance that we're not going to get it. It's just, we got to put our reimbursements in, and it's ours.
That's great, thank you.
Anything further on agenda item number 13? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We go on to agenda item number 14. A resolution requesting New York State to restore state retirement service credits to Cortland County workers who temporarily lost those service credits due to the county's temporary workforce reduction. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Motion by Ms. Bischoff.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newell. Questions? Ms. Preston?
Okay. Does this cost the county anything?
No.
Okay. Also, down to the last whereas clause, just because it might be a technical change, it says the Cortland County Legislature took the unprecedented step. We didn't actually ever vote on that. So I don't know, can we actually say it was the Cortland County Legislature that took that unprecedented action?
We could strike legislature, theoretically, it was at the
Thank you.
direction of the administrator, or we could substitute Cortland County Administrator if
That
folks
would be
feel
my
more comfortable
suggestion.
about that. Okay. Are there any concerns with committee members or anybody else on the line? So Ms. Preston has suggested in the final whereas that we strike the word legislature and change that to administrator, as the county administrator was the one that enacted our current furloughs. Okay, hearing no opposition, we'll advance that.
Thank you.
Mr. Fitch, did you have a question or statement?
No, I was just curious where it says whereas the county additionally expects to receive less sales tax. What does that have to do with this period?
I will share with you that this was boilerplate language that we took from Schoharie County, and I believe that the intent there is to articulate to the state that we are in no position to offset any losses that these employees would incur, whether it be credit, direct financial, or indirect financial, as a result of those factors.
Okay, so then it's assumed that we would be doing this.
Well, right, I guess if you wanted to make these folks whole as a result of this, then yes, it's assumed that the county would have to do that unless the state steps in to act on this issue.
Okay, thank you. Eric, on the change in the language.
Yes, sir.
I would propose, instead of replacing legislature with administrator, I would propose that we replace it with whereas Cortland County took the unprecedented step.
Okay.
Because I think all of us together, the legislature, the administrator, we all played a role and we all had a hand in the tough decisions that have been made. And I don't think it falls directly on the administrator. We're all in this together, and so I would be more comfortable with whereas Cortland County took the unprecedented step. I second that.
Mr. Fitch, thank you. Ms.
And
Preston?
as someone that brought this to our attention, yes, I'm
Okay.
fine with that.
Okay. Thoughts from anybody else in the group?
Well, I totally disagree with that.
Okay.
We have an administrator now,
Uh-huh.
and we've come to rely on him. we second guess him at this point?
May I ask, George, I'm not sure it's second guessing, at least the way I see that recommendation.
It's
is that
second
we're saying
guessing.
That we actually support his decision.
I'm sorry, we
So
went
that's
years
saying that
without,
even though we weren't directly involved in the sense that there wasn't a resolution that came to us, we did in fact support him. So I see it more actually supporting his role of what he did.
well, see,
I
I don't
see
see
it
it that way.
in a slightly different manner.
I don't see it that way. We went years without an administrator. Okay, we're just not used to having one. Go ahead, Mike.
I would say this is not second guessing, it's micromanaging. Let him do his job.
You got it, micromanaging. Anyway,
So I have 3 folks in favor of just Cortland County, and I have, Mr. Wagner, you appear to be the only committee member in favor of just administrator. Let's see if Ms. Price is available to weigh in. Sandy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Do you have a thought on this issue?
I like the word Cortland County.
Okay, Mr. Wagner, you were respectfully outvoted.
that's the first time.
Okay, so we're gonna strike legislature, and it's just gonna say, Cortland County. With that change, any additional questions or comments? Ms. Preston?
Yes. Do we have a list of the furloughed positions and their job titles? I know at least one board member has brought that up, that we would like a number and a list. I have not been provided it. Will that be coming forth soon?
We need some people to speak up there, Kelly.
Yeah, I can't.
You gotta speak up.
Oh, okay. I am inquiring if there is a list of the furloughed positions and their job titles. I know that at least one board member has asked and hasn't gotten a response, and I too would like that list. I'm not sure if it's out there.
It is not, it's not published.
Right.
We do have a list.
Okay.
And job titles.
Okay,
I'm not sure, we have to ask them that, what actually I can
right,
make public,
right.
but whatever we can, I'll be happy to.
Okay. I'm requesting that on the behalf of the legislatures that have brought that to my attention, that we be emailed so that we're in the loop of what the number is and the actual positions that have been furloughed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything further on this resolution? With that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We move to agenda item number 15, a resolution calling on the state of New York to release enhanced federal Medicaid matching funds to counties and New York City.
Move it.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Finch, second by Ms. Preston. Questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. We go to agenda item number 16, creating the Employment and Training Assistant and Employment and Training Specialist. That's for Cortland County Employment and Training. May I have a motion?
Move it.
Motion by Mr. Newell, second. We'll need a second so we can talk about it, folks.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Buggs is here. Come on down, Amy.
Hi, good night.
Okay, who wants to go first? Ms. Preston.
I'll throw it out there. All right, it's just kind of ironic that we just talked about furloughed employees, and I believe the number is around 56. And now we're talking about create positions. I'm not really with you on that.
So these 2 positions are federally funded positions that will staff the Workforce Development Office on Main Street, the Career Center on Main Street, that will be serving the thousands of people that are on unemployment when the county opens back up. We don't have a front desk person right now. We currently have 2 staff people that can help those folks that are gonna need to be retrained. They're gonna need to find other employment. besides the New York State Department of Labor staff. The Department of Labor staff that we have are, I think there's 4 in the office right now. Well, they're not even in the office. We're not sure when they're coming back, or if they're gonna be offered half the staff work part of the week and the other half work part of the other week. We will not be able to open that office with the numbers that we have currently and serve the numbers of people that we're expecting.
And that's assuming that they're not going back to their prior employment.
That's assuming that,
Assuming,
yes.
right.
Yes.
And you said federal. So
Correct.
this is a federal funds, not
These are
state.
100% federal funds from the United States Department of Labor.
And we're guaranteed to get these
Those
grants,
funds-
or is this another thing where maybe we'll get them?
We
this
had an
will come
issue,
down.
yes, we had an issue recently, and the US senators and legislators and assemblymen have made the states aware of the fact that federal dollars are not to be withheld at the state level.
Does this include benefits for these positions?
Yes.
So they're fully funded.
Yes.
They're fully funded, but if a person retires in that position, we pick up the retiree health cost.
No, they said, she just told me all the benefits are included.
My mistake, George, but she's correct.
So, post-employment
20 years down the road,
benefits would be a local share.
That's a local share.
Yep.
That's only a local share, regardless of the funding source.
yes.
That being said then, is the county contributing to the retirement costs?
I'm seeing Ms. Barber shaking her head in the back of the room.
No, it's all on them. It's all on the federal
What is
government.
it?
Ms. Barber's indicated that the county is not contributing to the fringe on the front side.
The only thing the county is paying for is when somebody does retire, the retiree health insurance is paid for by the county. Anything, all the retirement fees, the health insurance fees, and so on, while the person is employed, is 100% funded by the federal government.
Okay. So really, our problem is not for 20 or 30 years
Correct.
when this person, and is
Hopefully
there,
stays there long enough to retire
Right.
from there.
and is there, there's no opportunities within the department, because I'm noting
We
that
have
these
2
are
staff people
creation.
currently.
We have 2, okay, and you're looking to make that 4? Because this is 2
Well,
positions?
We just hired somebody to backfill Shannon Phillips's position.
Right, right.
So that person starts this week, so that would bring 2 counselors into the office, and then Shannon, the director. So we're looking for 2 additional people making that 5. We absolutely,
One of those positions is desk coverage, right? Maybe in
right,
and the
so,
other position is actually another counselor.
correct.
Yeah,
One is a counselor, one is the front desk person. The front desk person, the person we have working the front desk currently is funded by what some people may formally know as Green Thumb Experience Works, now known as A4DT. That person is only at the desk for 20 hours a week. We are not certain that that person will be returning to that position, as she is an older worker who may not want to work in the public anymore after this pandemic is done. So that's why I'm here today, is because we're gonna absolutely need somebody to man the front desk. If I don't get either of these positions, I'm pulling a counselor off the floor to man the front desk, who can't help the public.
Right. And I assume that green thumb funding has been challenging for you, if I remember from my previous conversations, right? I mean,
It's not the funding that's challenging, it's finding the people that's challenging.
okay. And with that funding, with a part-time role, basically.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Kathy, Mr. Fitch had a couple questions, so I'm going to set you aside for a second. Kevin, go ahead. You'd raised 2 points.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, are we still in a hiring freeze?
come back. But there are some positions, some people retire, some people put in a resignation, we still have to fill them. In this case, there is an additional need due to the pandemic that needs to be fulfilled.
So Sandy, that was your question. Do we have anyone on furlough who can do the EMT jobs?
That's what my question was. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Good question.
Okay, and also, the people that were furloughed will be coming back to their jobs. And that question is an Annette question as far as, can we bring them back under another position in the meantime?
Well, we didn't do a layoff, so I don't.
Annette, you're gonna have to come up here. Thank you. Okay, so Annette's responding to the question about, can we put individuals who have been furloughed into other jobs?
They aren't on a preferred list, so I have no mechanism to put them into that position. They technically still hold their positions. And so we did it as a benefit to the county and the taxpayer by furloughing the people so we can lessen our overall payroll. But I have no legal mechanism to move them into a different position because they weren't laid off.
Right.
Yeah. Does that answer your question, Kathy?
My question? No.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. All right. Kevin, are you set?
I just have one last question. Is that, how long are these grants for?
So the Workforce Development Grant has been around for longer than I've been alive, Kevin.
Annette? Annette? Annette?
Seriously?
Seriously.
These funds have been around for a very long time. I can't answer the length of time the question. This legislation in particular has been here since 2014. Prior to that was 1999, and prior to that, 1970.
So pretty good track record.
Those go way back, yes.
The reason why I asked is because if the grant goes away, it's like the position can go away as well, correct?
Right, correct.
This is the final result as well, Kevin.
The issue, may I speak, or does everyone?
I think so. Kathy Bishop, go ahead.
Yeah, the issue here is not simply the coalitions. One is creating two full-time FTEs when we do have other issues coming up. One could argue that this is an extremely important area. Clearly trying to retrain people who may not have a job when they come back is very important. My concern is, since we're looking at the entire organizational structure, is creating permanent FTEs. I understand the need, I understood it from Amy or staff about the need for consistent front desk coverage. They have not had it. It's been problematic for them. I understand that. For the full-time training specialists, the argument is made that we just don't know what the demand is going to be when we start relaxing our regulations. That may be true, but it may not be true 3 years from now. I don't know. So one of the things that we used to do in Arizona is create a limited FTE, which means that you create a position which has a time, basically a sunset, if you will. It comes up for your review. It expires at a certain amount of time. You review it. It doesn't mean that at that time it comes up for review that you can continue it. But it does give you an option of filling an immediate need, but then allowing you to step back sometime after that to see if the need is there to the degree it has to be. And again, that speaks to the fact that we're going to be looking at the entire organization, our complete commitment to all the FTE. Regardless of funding sources, as I said, every FTE does cost us. I mean, it costs us in IT support, it costs us in electricity, it costs us everywhere. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying it does. So my proposal would be, for reluctant to create an FTE in this environment, that we do so, but we do so on a limited basis. And that means in 3 years, it's a time-specific FTE, it expires in 3 years.
Kathy, can I just respond? Kathy, can I just respond real quick? Just to give you a little background, in 2008, when we went through the recession, we had 7 staff people in employment and training. 7 staff people couldn't handle the influx of people in 2008. People on each person's caseload then. I don't anticipate 375 people on each caseload. I anticipate that being double or triple. And when those numbers went down and our funding went down, those people got laid off or they retired from our positions. Hence why we have 3 positions now. So people know that when our money and when our funds and when our numbers go down, they know when they're interviewed and when they're hired that these are grant funds and those positions will likely be eliminated. So I just want to give you a little history on that. That's where we were at then. That's where we were at when I was hired in 1996. I was 100. Here I am in 2020. So we have the money, we have the need. So I'd hate to not be able to serve the public when the time comes in another month or 6 weeks.
Yeah. I think that I'm not saying not to, I'm just giving time limit to it.
Well, I think our funding will come. I think our funding will come to that and will eliminate that problem for you. I think you're going to see funding come from the feds. It's not going to last for the next 20 years. It's going to last for however many months or years that the funding lasts.
The challenge is, Amy, and I'm hearing you say, that that's been their decision, not ours. And what I'm saying is that let's assume that 3 years there's no funding. I mean, but and then I'm assuming hypothetically. And then in 3 years, but we say, gosh, the caseload really isn't there to warrant 3 employment specialists. Are we then prepared, even if the funding's still there, to say, no, we don't need 3?
If the funding isn't there, I'm not gonna keep somebody. That's the bottom line. I can't.
Okay.
If we don't need them, we aren't gonna keep somebody that we don't need.
Okay.
We've had a need since 2008, and we haven't filled it until now. We've all done more with less since then, and here we are.
Does this grant allow you to transition those funds in the future? If another need, summertime youth, could you transition something over to that and realign these dollars?
Yeah.
So this is Bo. I'd just like to weigh in a bit on this. I know that we've seen in the paper a 12-time increase from 250 unemployed individuals in Cortland County this time last year to over 3,200 so far during the midst of this crisis. The need for employment training and support is going to be absolutely critical as we come out of this recovery. And I understand the concern of creating new full-time positions. I will remind everybody at the very start of this that the discussion began with this is 100% federally funded positions that will be in effect as long as we need them and as long as the grant funding is available. So we do have our sunset clauses already built into this. We're going to have just an absolute tremendous need. People in unemployment now are not necessarily going to come back to the jobs that they had in January and February this year. So we have to be prepared to provide that support. This is the way that we can do that on the federal dime in order to bring Cortland County out of this COVID crisis and help us get us on the road to recovery. So I absolutely support this initiative. We have to support the workers in this county, and they're going to be in desperate need of support and training, and Amy and her crew are going to be at the forefront of doing that.
Ms. Preston. Ms. Preston has the floor. Thank you.
Is there any way that you would consider one person instead of the 2?
They're two different roles.
I understand.
One is a counselor, one is a greeter receptionist.
Right. I can't get there to furlough and then to hire, even if it's federal grants, 2 people. So just putting it out there.
Right.
I may be able to, 1 person.
You're all set. Mr. Van D?
This is federal money. These 2 people are needed. There's gonna be people standing in line to see these people. Don't we care enough about the people in this county to take care of them? I don't even know what this conversation is about.
Ms. Price?
Michael?
Yes. Let us not forget that every budget time, we review every budget and every position. If we find in the fall, this fall or a future fall time, that we don't need it, it can be eliminated through the budget. It is needed now, and I happen to think, my personal opinion is it's desperately needed now, and I do support this resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Ms. Bischoff?
I support it as long as we commit to reviewing caseloads and matters as the years go on. I do, because I don't know where we're gonna be 3 years from now. So,
The chair has indicated he'd like to advance to a vote. Are we in a good place?
Please.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Ms. Preston opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, everybody.
Moving on to agenda item number 17, local law E of 2020, a local law to repeal local law 1 of 2018, a local law establishing a pilot agreement for commercial solar energy systems in Cortland County, New York. May I have a motion, please?
Move it.
Motion by Ms. Preston. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Fitch. Thank you. Okay, so I'd just like to just sort of lay out where we're at on these. We were asked to put these items together, possibly for consideration for this Thursday's legislative session. However, due to the timing of that, we were unable to provide the required public hearing notice. Both local law E and local law F will require public hearings be held on the repeal and the adoption. We have scheduled a session for May the 21st. That would actually be your regular legislative session night. However, in order to advance them to that special session, we did bring them on the table today for folks to talk about, consider, and begin to advance them through the process and put those legal notices out there. So with that, we'll open it up for discussion.
Eric, this is Bo. I'd like to make a motion to refer these back to the statutory committee that has control over these issues, back to the Agriculture, Planning, and Environment Committee. The committee has not had a chance to review this local law or make huge substantive changes to the solar policies that we put forward just 2 years ago. So this motion needs to go back to the actual committee for review. We should not be doing it in a special session.
Okay, do we have a second on Mr. Harmon's motion?
I would second that.
Okay, second by Mr. Wagner. I would turn to Ms. Preston and Mr. Fitch on these, since you have motions on the floor, I guess.
I would keep it on. I mean, the same reasoning could be said for any one of these resolutions, is they did not go through the statutory committee. I know.
And that was by design.
Right.
We all agree.
That's right. That's
Okay.
we agreed. That's right.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, in comparison, I mean, I don't think that's really rationale that we can use. If we're not using it on the next one, number 19, for the Board of Elections. I don't understand the comparison.
The rationale for that, Ms. Preston, is the fact that we put forward these emergency measures in order to expedite the due diligence and good governance of our county during this crisis. Putting forward and revising our solar energy laws that we put forward 2 years ago does not rise to that measure. There is no urgent solar emergency that requires us to handle this in a special meeting. We should put this back onto the burner in such time as the actual committee that has control over this to review. This is not an emergency and does not rise to the level of why we have these special sessions.
Thank you, Mr. Harmon. Ms. Price?
time to look at in depth.
Mr. Fitch? I'm sorry, Mr. Fitch?
Yeah, so let's put it back to committee.
Are you withdrawing your second?
I did the second just to talk about it, yeah, I withdraw it now.
Okay. Ms. Preston, what's your pleasure?
Just leave the motion out there.
Well, without a second, then it will die. Okay, just to be clear. Okay.
I don't know if there is another second.
Unless there's somebody else who'd like to pick up the second.
Someone else talking?
Nope, go ahead, Kathy.
What's the possibility that we're going to start meeting in committees in June?
Well, we were gonna talk about that at the end of the meeting, but I guess since it's on the table right now, we might as well. It is the intent, I should say the chair's intent, to resume some level of our regular committee rotation in June, albeit face-to-face or distance and face-to-face. We are anticipating reconvening the regular committee process next month.
Good.
So it's feasible that this law could be taken up by the committee next month, is that true?
That is true. So the soonest it would be on the table would be, I believe they'll be meeting on the 11th of June, if my memory serves, and we would be entertaining these local laws. Well, we would entertain the public hearings on the 25th of June. Again, the legislature, we have to have the public hearings, we have to notice those out. The legislature has the option of voting on the 25th, or obviously waiting until another session to vote if you choose not to vote on the night of the public hearing.
So effectively taking that course of action would delay this by a month,
That is correct.
if people chose to act upon it.
If folks chose to act upon it in June, yes.
So is it the pleasure of the group that we refer this back to committee to the meeting?
I'm hearing a majority of the budget committee members wanting to refer, and I have a withdrawn second, so I don't actually have a viable resolution at this point. So unless
I believe there's a motion on the, to refer.
Yes.
On the table to refer to committee.
Yes, there
Can
is.
you just vote that through?
Okay. All those in favor of Mr. Harbin's motion to refer local law E, and I assume, Mr. Harbin, would you like to bundle local law F in that motion?
I would indeed.
Okay. Local laws E and F to the AP&E committee. I have a second by Mr. Wagner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Preston opposed.
A couple things, guys. I'm sorry.
You're voting.
We had it
You're voting.
we're saying, referring it to the June meeting. Not just referring it, but referring it to the June meeting.
To the next.
That will be primary committee agenda anyway.
Right. Yes. We will ensure that it's on the June agenda.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Is that time enough to act on?
You can act on it at the committee, you just can't finalize it at legislative session until we hold public hearings.
Okay.
Right.
So if folks act on it on the 11th, if I've got my dates correct, then certainly we would begin the process of publishing public hearing notice as we were preparing to do today.
So Kathy, what we could do too is send out the laws pretty much after this meeting so people can review it. And then we're going to before the committee.
These are the laws, Mr. Fitch. What the text you see in front of you is short and sweet.
Well, let me add to what Kevin said though. I think, and what Bo said, I think providing more background as to why this could not be important with the way discussion prior to that meeting, I think Kevin, you're right, would be key, so that people are really grounded in what this can or cannot do for this issue.
Ms. Preston.
We need to do that.
And I just want to point out the EDF company is going full steam. While we have been in the crisis mode, they are going full speed with their project in Solon.
points out this is no longer debatable. Motion was adopted, no motion on the floor to debate. We need to advance. Thank you, everyone. We move on to agenda number 19. Amend the 2020 Board of Elections budget to transfer funds and authorize purchase of clear ballot voting system. Board of Elections, may I have a motion?
Move it.
Ms. Preston, may I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I can offer a little background on this. This was a late entry. Many of you may be aware that the Democratic presidential primary was reinstated in New York State, subject to a lawsuit. As a result, the governor has issued an order that absentee ballots be mailed to all Democratic voters. In order to process those absentee ballots moving forward for the June 23rd election, the Board of Elections is going to need to purchase this piece of equipment, as are pretty much every county across the state of New York from this selected vendor. They are going to be receiving some additional funds from the Help America Vote Act. In addition, the CARES Act to the tune of a little over $80,000. As you can see from this resolution, it is a $52,000 piece of equipment. Again, our apologies for the late notice on this. The Board of Elections just received confirmation on Monday or Tuesday on Monday, that they would be able to access shoebox funds and the CARES Act funds to offset this purchase. But again, as indicated in the resolution, it's the old spend the money first and get paid back second. So with that, I would open up to any additional questions. Ms. Preston?
I'll just make a comment. I mean, we don't love it. We don't love spending that money ahead of time, but it's one of these necessary expenditures that has been pushed on to us. We have no option.
In consultation with the Board of Elections, notwithstanding the upcoming primary, we do believe in the changing landscape that we're living in now. Absentee ballot voting may become even more of a norm, and so this piece of equipment would certainly live beyond the current need. Any additional questions? I have a motion by Ms. Preston, second by Mr. Newell. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. At this time, we do require an executive session for the purposes of discussing the employment history of a specific individual and matters that may lead to promotion, demotion, discipline, that good stuff. May I have that motion, please?
I'll move it.
Motion by Ms. Preston, second by Mr. Wagner. For those folks that are not a legislator, I would ask you to please exit the call. We are in executive session at 3:13, and for those folks here in the room, other than Ms. Barber, have a nice afternoon.
Is that it?
I have a quick question though.
Are you going to come back from it?
You don't want to come back if you guys are.
We'll probably come back just for a vote on that one item.
If there's action taken out of executive session Shenandoah, I will report that out as we would under the minute requirement.